Vallabh Bhanshali was in conversation with us at ET Now earlier, and he shared his thoughts on where leadership is emerging in the market. Despite voicing concerns over the unplanned developments, he remains quite bullish on the consumption-led growth that India may see, and he starts off by highlighting the fact that Indian companies are emerging as global leaders in their industries. Here's an excerpt of that conversation with Nikunj.
I think Indian companies are leaders are thought of. I mean, if an Adani goes and buys a major port in Australia, and that's an auction, I think it's an extraordinary asset. So, someone has bought a great coal mine, someone has bought an infrastructure company, a port. We are going and buying in chemicals, in metals. So I think India is a leader country today. And there are enough acts of leadership. I think, how can we forget JLR? It was the pride of the Western world, both the brands. And an Indian company bought it, and which was known for the small car, and now they have, turned around a luxury car, and they made a profit of £1 billion. So I think it's just no more one segment. I think the fact that you are an Indian company, you are respected today.
What do you make of the restructuring at Infosys Technologies?
I think it's wonderful, absolutely. I think this restructuring has been very, very predicted, extremely well planned, and I think the choices are fantastic. One has to understand that Infosys is a creature of governance. We talked a lot about governance. And they simply say that if you have the right design and the right intentions, nobody can stop you. Even in this decision, they've gone by the same principles, that those who know the company well, those who know the business well, those who will arouse the highest amount of confidence, they looked at all those issues as probably a little more important, if not as equally important, as those who can push growth, those who can, manage things, who have imagination. So I think they have brought a great balance. And to have someone like Mr. Kamath as the chairman of the board is a fantastic choice. Mr. Kamath is not only a great business leader, but ICICI has been an Infosys customer for the longest time. Their Finacle was probably, I think, first sold to Infosys, to ICICI. Mr. Kamath himself built a BFSI empire. BFSI is the largest segment of business for Infosys. So someone who understands the business of the company, both as a customer and as a sector expert. He is a business leader who has seen challenges, who has met challenges, and therefore who better than him? And then he has had the privilege of being on the board much before he became the chairman, so he's quite familiar with all the challenges. All in all, a fantastic choice.
What about IT stocks? Do you think the springtime for IT stocks is over?
Seasons are cyclical. They come again and again. And I think it's just that. Because the markets were slow, the markets were going, people were looking for defensive sectors. And so maybe, IT stocks had their own run-up. Then there are currency aspects also. So I think they are well-managed companies. The opportunity is large. They continue to produce, more than 15-20% growth every year. What else could you want in a stock?
Is Reliance a great contra-buy at these levels? I know you track that one with a magnifying glass. I
haven't really, looked at Reliance acutely. I think what they're doing in terms of diversifying their risks, both in terms of bringing BP to manage the technology better, and in investing elsewhere. I think shale looks extremely exciting, more than the opportunity in a large market like US. I think the technology itself, that has come up in shale gives Reliance a pioneering, or rather I would say an early advantage in that country. So I think, and the large, the investment they are making in doubling their capacity in most areas, I think at a certain valuations, Reliance does look very exciting.
Would you bang the table and predict that on a 3-year basis, Sensex will be at least 20% higher from the current levels on a 3-year basis?
I would.
And why do you say that?
I think even the consumption-led growth that we have had is not going to go away. It may slow down the growth. It may lead to an unplanned Bombay where you have slums and you don't really have nice cities. But that's okay, they will still cause growth. What we are saying when we talk of governance and policy reform is that you're going to have planned growth, you're going to have a beautiful city. But the city is going to grow.